Hello, happy Monday. I hope you all had a fabulous weekend. It's so nice here. Is summer actually here to stay? I think so. Which brings me to today's live topic, which is 5 tips for a healthy, happy summer. And the thing is, you can be successful in reaching your health and fitness goals in the summer. And often I will hear things like, I'll just wait until after summer, or I don't want to have to give up my summer. Or I'll often hear, but I'm going camping all summer. I don't want to not drink this summer. I don't want to miss social gatherings, all of these things. I'll just put my goals on the back burner until summer is over. The thing is, summer, it's a big chunk of time. And people are often so concerned about holidays, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. But those holidays are like kind of condensed into a weekend. Some people maybe extend, but summers, they're a big chunk of time. Like if we're talking about today, what's the date today? I don't even know. The 26th of May. We have June, July, August, can even go into September. But typically September is kind of like that reset, in my opinion, and you're probably agreeing or nodding your head. But 3 months, let's say June, July, August, that's a long time. And I don't think having the mindset of I'll just wait, or having FOMO, or I'll just put my goals on the back burner is the right way to approach things. The thing is, fat loss, and I'm going to talk about fat loss because that just seems to be a pretty common goal. And maybe that's not your goal, which is great. But fat loss has such a negative reputation because people have an all or nothing mindset when they approach it. And, you torture yourself with extreme diets, and it doesn't have to be this way. You don't need to quote unquote diet throughout the summer, but you should take the steps. And this is a mindset shift, a mindset hack. You should take the steps to always working towards becoming the healthiest version of yourself. And being the healthiest version of yourself by practicing healthy habits surrounding movement, sleep, alcohol, social gatherings, will have you reach your physical goals most of the time. And I say most of the time, probably like 99.7% of the time. So I want to chat about 5 tips to having a healthy, happy summer. Number 1 is to set daily non-negotiables. No matter where you are, in a tent, in a trailer, in a hotel room, at home, at a friend's house, relatives, your parents' place, wherever it is, non-negotiables. For me, non-negotiables are steps, water, protein. I don't always track my food, but these 3 non-negotiables, no matter where I am, regardless the time of the year, but we're talking specifically about summer, steps, water, protein for myself. It can be some type of nutrition non-negotiable. It can be some type of movement non-negotiable. It can be hydration like myself. I do think that what I just talked about it's easy to stick with. It really is. And these small things that we repeat, these habits, these routines day in and day out are ultimately what make us the healthiest beings. So other examples could be a walk first thing in the morning. It could be a liter of water down the hatch, power water. When I say power water, I'm talking like salt water with a little bit of lemon. I add turmeric and ginger to mine for a little extra boost and reduced inflammatory effects. But whatever you are going to decide, make it something that is easily achievable. Non-negotiables, like no matter what happens, you are making this happen, I guess, no matter what. So if 3 things is just overwhelming, choose one. Water, steps, sleep, movement, whatever it is that you know you can stick to. So that's number 1, set daily non-negotiables wherever you are, like no matter what, wherever you are. Number 2 is to take time to figure out boundaries. There's always so much going on in the summer, and I wrote down in my notes here, moms specifically, but this is any woman. You do not have to say yes to everything that presents itself. Camps, friends' houses, get together, patio drinks, camping. You do not have to say yes to everything. And I am saying this from the deepest part of my heart because I've seen it time and time again, and I've been through it myself, is that we just take on way too much in the summer, and then we completely burn out. We're exhausted. It's hard to stick to self-care. You don't want to even do anything because you're so tired running after your kids or saying yes to everybody else except for yourself. So take this one seriously. Take time to figure out your boundaries. Look back at past summers and understand what things made you feel overwhelmed when you said yes to them. And that can be something like, I'm only going camping 2 times a month, or I'm only drinking 3 times this month, or you set that boundary and say, hey, do you want to go for a walk and coffee instead of going to sit on a patio? Like decisions like that, they truly make a huge difference. When we don't have boundaries or a plan, our default answer is typically yes. Think about that. Are you that yes girl? And that's typically because you just haven't sat down to even think about or write it out or journal about it or set those boundaries that are going to just make you happy and healthy. Like I said at the beginning of this podcast, good Lord, this live. Number 3, I talked a little bit about this already, but it's so important. Prioritize hydration and choose lower cal beverages. Darn alcohol. It's fun. Some might even say it tastes good. But man, can it ever set us back? And I'm noticing that way more as I get older, that I just cannot tolerate alcohol. Even 1 glass of wine, which is really sad because I love wine, but 1 glass of wine will have me sleep really shitty. I feel guilty. I get inflammation. I notice it in my face. I notice it in my knees, my joints. As much as we can be told, like, it's a poison, you are poisoning yourself. People will continue to drink, and I'm not here to shame you. I am just simply here to educate you, share my personal experience with alcohol, and know that it just isn't aligning with the stage of life that I am in. And the really cool thing is that there are so many mocktail options available. And I think that is great because I don't think we really love the feeling of being under the influence, and then the after effects, it just doesn't, I guess I'm speaking about myself. It just doesn't do anything for me anymore. It's just the social aspect of having a drink, and sipping on something regardless if there's alcohol in it or not. So for me to make sure that I'm hydrated, I slam water. Like I'm talking at least a liter first thing in the morning. Did I bring my tea up here? No, it's still downstairs. I drink 2 mason jars like full of tea. Yes, it cools off because it's warm now, but I make sure I drink a ton of water. And I do think that that has a huge influence on my skin health, my hair, my nails, hydration, blood pressure, recovery, appetite, cravings, hormones. Like there's so many benefits, and we do sweat more during the summertime. So it's just important to be replacing it with remineralized water, a little bit of sea salt, Celtic sea salt, pink Himalayan salt. They're both fantastic. Mineral drops are great. Electrolyte drinks are great. Just read labels. Be cautious of things like artificial sweeteners, sucralose, just because, well, it's highly addictive and it is highly gut disrupting as well, and can eventually lead to leaky gut, inflammation, possible autoimmune. Like we don't want to go down that road at all. So lots of water. Aim for 2 liters in the beginning part of the day, and then you can easily get a liter plus at the later part of the day. Now, switching back to alcohol, if you do choose to drink, there's definitely some lower calorie options, lots of seltzers. Like if I had to give you my suggestions on what to drink, neutrals are fantastic. That's the only one I can think of because that's the only ones we have downstairs in our refrigerator. But if you go to the liquor store, like there's a ton of options when it comes to low-cal, like gin and soda and vodka soda, and I don't know, is there rum and soda? I'm not a rum drinker, but you get my drift. All right, number 4 is to take time to plan out your proper nutrition, especially for weekends. I feel like we all do really good during the week, and I had one of those weekends this weekend. On Saturday, we started watching a movie. Rob starts eating popcorn. He's got chocolate chips, and I'm like, I gave in. I did. I'm human. I'm not perfect all the time. Even during this 6-week challenge, I had a moment of weakness, and I'm just looking at it as a learning opportunity. I probably should have planned for this, knowing we'd be at home sitting on the couch just having a slower night, but I didn't, and I went over my calories. That's okay, like I said, but planning it out. If I would have done that, I likely would have stuck to my calorie intake if I had added that in, which is like totally doable. You can be in a calorie deficit, in a fat loss phase, in a diet phase, while eating chocolate chips and popcorn. Just probably should have had less. But planning your weekends away, camping, it's going to save you calories. It's going to save you the headache on what it feels like to get knocked off track and then try to get back on again. Healthy snack options. We can choose things like veggie trays, fruit trays, turkey pepperoni, jerky, hard-boiled eggs. I've got RX bars, Lara bars. If the options are there, you are going to eat them. If the only thing you have laid out are munchies and chips and quote unquote, quote, like junk snacky foods, then that's probably what you're going to eat. But if there are trays of vegetables and pepperoni and even some cheeses, meat, that sort of thing, maybe some gluten-free crackers, rice crackers, could be a better option than, let's say, some potato chips. So planning in advance, having it there at your fingertips, biggest hack possible, right? And then when it comes to food choices like burgers, steak, chicken breast, you can see how I'm like protein, protein, protein. If we eat higher protein, your cravings are going to decrease. You're going to be fuller. The grazing is going to be less likely to happen. No matter where I am, I try to make a high protein breakfast. Like this is, I guess, a non-negotiable for myself. It doesn't always happen, but high protein breakfast, ladies, you've heard me talk about this. Like this is the most important thing you can do to set the hormone balance, blood sugar balance, decrease cravings, make sure your energies are stable, your mood, that you just start your day off on the right foot. And you've probably heard like breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I am a huge advocate of that. So high protein, healthy fats, fruit, I think is such a great way to start your day. Now, last but not least is get enough sleep. And at this time of year, there's just tends to be more on our plate. The days are longer. I think we just like fill our schedules with a lot more activities, more opportunities to stay up later. Sleep can take a back burner. And again, I'm saying this from experience. I'm saying this because I've been a coach for many years and I see it happen. And we often see just energy go down. Like, Danielle, I haven't changed anything with my food, my activity. And I'm like, okay, how's your sleep? Well, my sleep hasn't been great, right? So that is one thing that can have like a huge impact on the way you feel, your appetite, your cravings, your fat loss, your energy, your recovery, your sex drive. So many darn things. There's a study that I read that people who get less than 7 hours of sleep per night eat 20 to 30% more calories. That's, of course, if you're not tracking. But that shows you just how impactful sleep is on your hunger hormones. If you are consistently sleeping less than 7 hours, you will have a tendency to overeat 20 to 30% more calories. That is freaking crazy. And of course, it's going to impact your food choices. I don't know if you've ever underslept. Probably. I definitely have. On days that I have crappy, shitty sleeps, I am a bottomless pit. I'm like, what is going on here? I just feel like I could constantly eat. And I know that has to do with my hormones. So those are the 5 tips. I'm going to start wrapping things up here. So just to reiterate, number 1 is to set daily non-negotiables, 1 to 3 things. Make sure like it's something you can stick to because it feels freaking good to be able to stick to goals that you set out for yourself. Number 2 is to take time to set boundaries. Number 3 is hydrate. And then of course, be mindful of your alcohol intake. Number 4 is to plan out your proper nutrition. I'm not talking just like prepping everything, but actually having a plan. And number 5 is to get enough sleep. And the thing with summers too, it's okay to change your goals. You do not have to continue to be in a fat loss phase if you don't want to, because it takes a certain level of discipline and commitment to stick to a deficit. And I'm going to talk more about this in the coming weeks. But maybe ask yourself, would I be happy just maintaining what I've worked so hard for? Because maintenance is progress. Maintaining what you've worked for also takes a certain level of commitment and discipline, because that's a slippery slope. When you say, oh, I've reached my goals, or I just want to take a little bit of a break working towards fat loss goals, I just want to maintain, there still needs to be some type of commitment to being a healthy individual, right? I hope that that makes sense, because it takes some sacrifice to lose fat. And the worst thing you can do is deprive yourself all week only to overdo it every weekend and be stuck in this vicious cycle, all or nothing mindset, or restrict binge cycle, whatever you want to call it. So consistency over time is what matters most, in my opinion. and do what's best for you, right? Only you know what's best for yourself. I can be here obviously to support you and help you to reach your goals, but maybe there's different phases in your life where you want to tackle things a little bit more aggressively, and other times, like I said, where you want to maintain, because trust me when I say there is beauty in being in maintenance phases. There's less stress to be perfect or to stick to everything or to set boundaries and that sort of thing. And often when I have clients eat at maintenance, they actually start seeing the physical goals they actually want to see, because they're in a position to build muscle, which then leads to fat loss. They are gentler on themselves. They are more empathetic on themselves. When they have a little slip up, they tend to get back on track right away. They're not as restrictive. Like, there's a whole mindset thing that goes along with it. But we get so caught up in diet culture and cutting back foods and okay, I'm just rambling at this point in time, but I think you might be agreeing with me that there's power in staying at maintenance for quite some time, because that's how your body truly transforms, where you see that muscle gain and that fat loss. All right, ladies, let me know if you've got questions on this topic, and I hope you have a fabulous Monday. Talk to you soon.